Stalker, Flash games. You click this video because you want to see what it looks like when the two are crossed. Either that or you're subscribed to me for some reason. If that's the case, thank you. If that isn't the case, make that the case right now. So this is a game that I found on an archive of old browser games before Flash went down. There was no data about when it was developed, who developed it, or what website it was posted on. If any of you know anything about where this game might have been posted initially, let me know in the comments. With all that aside, let me tell you the story of Stalker Flashed. I don't know why I'm doing the cinematic intro, there isn't much to this game. First thing you see is your car driving on what seems to be a hilly path, and then you just stop. For some reason, you're not even close to your destination, that's a spoiler, but you just kind of stop, and you get out, and you walk, and you continue to walk, and you're walking very slow. I am holding down D, that's the movement key, this whole time. This is the fastest movement speed accessible. Some quick things to mention though, because I'm not just here to trash on the game, I actually do enjoy the fact that I found it. The atmosphere is pretty convincing for a Flash game. I really like the little thunderstorm off in the distance. The slow walking speed, although it does make it feel a little bit less gamey, I think it does contribute to the atmosphere somewhat. And I really do like the stock photo aesthetic of all this stuff. It cuts to the next scene and you can see some structures that seem to be almost directly ripped from the Stalker series. I don't know what game or where the images are, but they just look too acutely representative of the Stalker buildings to not just be screenshots. You've got the fire in the barrel, you know, it's all very representative of the series. When you show up to the door, it actually plays the PDQ noise from the video games, so that's a nice touch, and that's how you navigate through like the menu and stuff. You go in and you get a fully rendered cutscene, and I don't know where this cutscene comes from. If they made it specifically for this game, that's super cool, but I just kind of doubt it. I just don't feel like they did that. But again, I would love to be proven wrong. It's cool that it's in here. Some very basic text. This guy asks if you can speak Ukrainian, and he asks you to stop trembling. Then we get a nice little word salad on the house. This is probably the worst dialogue in the game. I get that, like, people kind of talk a little rough in the Stalker universe, but this guy is just kind of incomprehensible. If you didn't understand Stalker and you started playing this game for some reason, you would just be absolutely lost. There's also a few typos, which I wish whoever made this game would have ironed out. But yeah, at the end of the exchange, he gives you a gun and you are on the back of a truck. The truck just seems very stock imagey, which is something that I kind of like. It's kind of endearing. Now the game gives us a bit of time to process this dialogue box while we're riding on the back of the truck, and I will say it's quite confusing. It isn't very clear what faction we are and who we're fighting against, at least it isn't said clearly. Whoever's saying this stuff says that the place is full of military, but doesn't say if they're military or not, because he says that you can just get out of a conversation by saying you're the person's nephew. Although I'm just going to assume that we are bandits and the military is opposing us, and you'll see why in a second. The truck pulls up on a couple of tanks that we just somehow did not see sitting in some trees. The guy we're riding with, who's been giving us all these instructions, tells a man to stop the car. The man has a very funny name. Maybe that's a common name in Russian culture, I'm not sure. So then they talk to the military people and they want to take the other people on the truck away for some sort of inspection, and they want to just leave me here, which is fine. But the moment the dialogue boxes end, I try walking left for like a foot and I get shot, point blank, by the dude sitting on the tank. And that's game over, apparently. So that happens fast, even faster than in the Stalker games. So then I go through that whole sequence again, as in I just replay the game up until that point, and then I decide to walk right this time. And that works, I guess. So I keep walking, I see a statue, and then I realize that the PDQ menu is actually just Windows Mobile, which I think is pretty funny. It's even got the little startup sound in there. And it's Windows Mobile on a Samsung tablet. And that's pretty cool. But then something that's not very cool is you get the blue screen of death when you try to boot it up. So you have no choice but to X out of it. I don't really know what the point is of this being in here, but whatever, it's cool that it's Windows Mobile. I bumbled around with hitting a few keys for a while, and eventually I managed to turn on what appears to be a headlamp or a flashlight, and I also found out how to shoot, so that's pretty cool. And another new feature that you're only allowed once you get this far in the game is now I can run. And that makes traveling a lot easier. So then I just keep on running, and I want to take some time to appreciate the background for the sky in this scene, you know? And it's been used in the other scenes as well, but when you have nothing but a few trees and one like radioactive sign in a scene, it's nice that the skybox is at least pretty cool. Nice and atmospheric, very stalkerish. I get to the next scene and there's a tower with a watch light. I just run through the whole scene, and I step on a landmine, but the landmine has a delay, and I get off of the landmine in time for it to blow up. And I'm pretty sure this is where the game just straight up breaks. At least to my knowledge, I couldn't find anything within the controls that could get me around this. There's an electric anomaly, and it's there, and it does have the sound from the games, but I don't think you can get past it, because it could be a timed anomaly of sorts. But I hit it with the screw, and the anomaly went off, and then I tried to run through it and it just zapped me, so I'm really not sure. At least that's what I thought until I saw some guy on YouTube finish it. By the way, there's one video of this game on YouTube, and the one video does have the guy finishing the game completely, which is pretty cool. So apparently the screw thing was just a little bit janky, and you can time it just right to be able to run through, and it is a timed anomaly. Once you get through with that, you move on to a firefight. I saw the guy die, I think, once at it, and it's alright. It's pretty simple. You just shoot in his direction, knock over some of the stuff in front of him, and then get him. Moving on from that firefight, you have to lie down as a helicopter swoops over, and then you have to throw a screw at one more timed anomaly. And then you get to this camp. These guys say don't shoot, and then you tell them you're their nephew. I don't understand how this fits into the lore, really, but it's just a Flash game. I can't give it too much credit. And yeah, then they let you into their camp, and there's a guy playing guitar, and once you enter the building, it just rolls the credits for like a split second and shoots you back to the home screen. And that is the full game. This game isn't anything crazy. I wouldn't even really recommend playing it, but I think it's just cool that it exists, and I couldn't find much documentation of it on the internet, so I wanted to provide a bit of documentation. So yeah, if you like this video and you want to see me cover some other cool stuff, just subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. I've got bigger, more ambitious videos on the way, a whole bunch of them lined up, but until then I'll keep putting out these smaller ones. Sorry for the delay. See you in the next one.